Thanks for having me. My name is Tatsu Ikeda, and I've been working with AI only since this year, since April. And since then, I've created a number of software programs. You can check them out. They're over at my GitHub, which is right here. Um, it's just Tatsu Ikeda, and these are the projects I've built. Um, the first one I built was back in July. Yeah, July 8th. So I haven't been working with AI in programming for very long at all. But I've made, I don't know, 7 or 8 programs, and most of them I've created in this AI, which is called Claude. And Claude is one of the better public. It's not open source, but and we can talk about open source AI too, that I run on my other PC. I would be joining this meeting on my PC, which does run Linux. I'm, I've always used Ubuntu since the early days, um, probably since basically Amazon and AWS came out, like in 2006 or so. So I spend my Linux version of choice since then, but uh, my PC does not have a webcam, so I'm using my Mac today. And so there are a number of AIs out there that you can use. I don't recommend ChatGPT, mostly because the company behind it, OpenAI, first of all, it's like 49% owned by Microsoft, so that should tell you something. Second of all, the CEO, Sam Altman, he's kind of he's like I liken him to the Elon Musk of AI, right? Like a very charming salesman who doesn't live up to his promises. Most of the feature releases OpenAI announces never get implemented until months, maybe years later, similar to the promises Elon has with his products. And he's very cozy. Sam Altman is also very cozy with regulators, whether they be in Congress or regulatory agencies. And so I just don't trust the guy. And I don't think the product is very good. That being said, Claude is seen as one of the leading large language models out there. If you're really interested into getting into the nitty gritty of machine learning, huggingface.co is the place to go to check out various models. It's like the hub for AI, and everyone, all the open source AI stuff is here. So if you want to, run, actually Facebook has a pretty good open source model called Llama. Um, so Llama 3.2 now is a pretty good model that you can run on even a laptop. And so all the specs will be right here. Um, and then you just need to get various tools to run this on your machine. Obviously, if you have the latest and greatest Mac M4 um, platform in your Mac, using whatever Mac Studio, MacBook Pro, that's okay. Apple's sort of catching up, but obviously the ideal thing is to have like a desktop PC with a very nice large VRAM NVIDIA card, right? So it, in fact, if the larger the models, so this 3.2 denotes the number of parameters or nodes that are that are inside the model. So they go up to like, you know, they start at like 3. A mid-level one is like 8, and then you can go up to like 405 billion parameters. And for that kind of size, you need a server farm. So the largest LLM that you could run conceivably at home would be something like 32, but you would need like 2 or 3 video cards for that, and that would be thousands of dollars, right? So, but it's nice because you can actually fine tune the model. There are things like, so one of the things that about AI is in the cloud is that there are certain subjects that are censored, for lack of a better word. There are definitely guardrails, right? You can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. So, um, obliterated LM. I'm trying to find. So this is an article, published at Hugging Face by a user named Matt Laban, and he describes this process of obliteration, and it's basically removing the guardrails from an LLM, and this is the process that he goes through to do it. And he also just publishes them, so you can just download them to your PC, and that way you have a completely uncensored large language model at your disposal. So that's just an aside. I guess I should get towards the programming aspect of AI, which is why we've gathered here today. And I'll probably send out an email later, but I'm planning to develop a course in AI. It's actually targeted more towards marketers, but anyone who's seeking to improve their communication skills, and I think all of us programmers, all of us Linux users could definitely use an upgrade in our communication skills. This course is targeted towards you, but I'm conducting informational interviews at this point to gather feedback as to what people are actually seeking, as opposed to my own vision of what people should learn. So just matching up realities. Obviously, there's no cost to this. There's no commitment. It's just 30 minutes or whatever on a Zoom call or Jitsi call, and so I'll send out that email later. So the very first program that I created in AI was this one, and basically I signed up for a course to make a course, and our instructor told us to join various social media platforms, join the groups that are related to your niche, and start posting stuff, right? So I was like asking the AI, when should I create posts on Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit? And what times of the week are the best, and what times of those days are the best? Then it gave me a calendar. Obviously, it was just text, output, right? So it's like, can you give me a .ics file to just drag and drop into my Google Calendar? And it was like, no, I can't make a .ics file. So I was like, fine. I was like, can you make me a program that creates a .ics file from a text file of dates and times? So I'm sort of just recreating my first experience with creating a Python program in AI. And, it was my I do have some Python programming, and I don't know if it's, you guys tell me if you want me to walk through like the fundamentals of the structure of a Python program, because that's the only thing I'm really good at in programming, is like how to, do virtual environments, choose the right version of Python, how to organize your projects, and how to, push things to GitHub. So, it's given me um, a basic program, and it's fine. So I'll go to um, Visual Code Studio. And you don't have to use Visual Code Studio. You could use something as very simple as TextMate, which is literally just a text editor. But you know, Visual Code Studio, it's a pretty nice IDE. I messed with PyCharm and other things in the past. So I'm just going to create a new file. I'm going to dismiss this. I'm going to dismiss this. So let's make a new file, Python file. Thank you. Boom. So I'm going to save this in my projects directory. We'll just call it ICS Maker. Oops, I'm going to use an underscore. So it's saved on our local computer. We're going to create the environment for it. So this is, getting. Are there a lot of people out here in the audience who have Python experience? I don't know if there's like a hand raising thing. Like, I'm just going to do it here. Okay, so we got a couple users, like 2 or 3. Cool, awesome. Love to hear it. So you got nice. So you guys might be better at this than me, but I'm just going to open up the terminal, new terminal, and I should be, nope. So I'm in projects. I'm going to go to CS Maker. So the first thing to do, actually, I do have like a better README of like how to create the proper environment for a Python project. So this one, it's like, okay, git clone my project, do this, right? Python 3.1, create the virtual environment. So this assumes that you have like Python 3.1.1 on your machine. This is not installed by default on most machines. So depending on which platform that you're on, you'll need to, like, on a Mac you'll use Homebrew. On a Linux machine, obviously you use apt or whatever package manager that you're using on your Linux. But once you got that out of the way, I tend to stick with a version of Python that I know isn't broken. It seems like the newest version of Python is like always broken. So I think it's up to 3.1.3 at this point. But so I've created the virtual environment. You can see it here. I'll try to make things bigger so you can see it. So we have our .vnv, and then I'm going to source it, right? So vim activate. So we activated our virtual environment, which means any pip installs that we needed, all our dependencies are going to be local only to this virtual environment, right? So let's go up to the imports. I think these are going to be included. So I don't think we need to do a requirements file, but if we did, obviously you would just create one. And then, put in your Python or pip install requirements in there, and then say, pip install our requirements, right? So let's just like run this and see what happens. So ICS. So no module named iCalendar. So we probably need to create that. So we're just going to ask the AI, can you make a requirements file? Great. So we have that. And then we'll go back to Visual Code Studio. Oh, and actually, oh no, this is the wrong file. Next file, boom. Yes, fine. So I'm going to install the requirements, and then hopefully we can run this program. Okay, so it made something. I don't know what it made, but we're going to check it out. So it made our calendar events.ics file. Oh, so we need to populate so it automatically assumes that you're going to have events in this. So, but I'm going to be a little ambitious here, and I'm going to say, can you make the program able to accept various date and, sorry, my typing is off. Whatever. So I'll modify the program to handle various common date and time formats using dateutils parser, which is much more flexible. And then we'll actually, so I'm going to say, do oil change. Let's see, December, whatever, 11th at 4 p.m. I'm going to challenge it a little bit. So will it be able to accept this? The first 3 lines will work. All right, so let me modify the program to handle both structured and unstructured text entries, which is what I want, right? Great. And, this type of exercise is kind of a one-shot approach with some modifications. So let's see what it does now. Maybe I'll add like another thing. BLU speech November 6:30. So I'm going to ask it, is it going to work with this? Yes, the program now will work. Fantastic. All right, so we're going to run the program again. And then we have just for proof of concept, I'm going to go to my Google Calendar. I'm going to settings and sharing. So I'm going to import, integrate. Where is it? Oh, import. Here it is. So select file. I'm going to go to projects, ICS maker, and then select my .ics file, add it to my import. And it only had 3 events, which is not great. So it did team meeting, it did client with lunch, but it did not do the unstructured ones. So I'm going to go back to the AI, say, hey, it didn't work on unstructured. So this is kind of the struggle bus portion of the presentation, fixing bugs. It's actually pretty good at fixing bugs, but after a while, it makes sense to stop using this and then actually start coding yourself, or like start fresh and start a new chat, upload the version of the program that you have now, and say like, hey, this thing has problems, can you work on this? And then kind of start over, from baseline. If the program is like pretty complex, like I think the most sophisticated program I have is this prediction of the presidential election that I built, and it's like, I don't know, 1,100 lines of code. Sometimes you're better off just starting over. It's like, sometimes I'll just say, okay, here's some code that I wrote. Build me a prompt to recreate this program in AI. And then it'll generate the AI. I'll start a new chat, paste that in, and just start from scratch, right? With a better, because like when you start programming like this, you actually don't know what you want to build. You think you know what you want to build, but it's like, oh, I want this feature now. It's like, oh, I want it to do this. And that's when the AI start like kind of messing up, for lack of a better term. And it's like, it's not the AI's fault. It's kind of your fault for being like a poor project manager. But we're all just kind of messing around here. So that's sort of how to build a Python program. Does anyone have any questions before we move on to other topic areas? Like, I think I have chat. That's right. Just remember that maybe not all of us have giant screens. Yep, I'm trying to keep things readable. Is this readable enough for you, Mr. MOD? Okay, I mean, it doesn't look like we have any questions. So that's how to build, a pretty simple calendar assistant with AI that, you could have a bunch of dates and times in a text file, convert it to a .ics file, and just import it to the calendar program of your choice, since basically all calendars accept .ics files. I mean, the ironic thing is like .ics is like a standard format. It's kind of like XML, but much messier looking. So, um, cool. All right, great. So I'll try to keep remembering to zoom in. So it's pretty good. So what other languages can you program? I can program in many popular languages. Here are some of the main ones I'm proficient in. So, uh, mm, mm, I think it's struggling on that. Retry. Ooh. So yeah, it knows a lot of languages. Um, JavaScript, Java, C, Ruby, PHP, Swift. So you can make Mac apps or iOS apps. Um, so it knows a lot of stuff. It knows. It really is like this 5-year-old with with the world's information at its fingertips, right? And so, in terms of like, Python's going to be your go-to, obviously, for a lot of reasons, because it's good for these types of projects. But what if you want to build something full stack? And then with the full stack arena, there are a number of them. So, like, I'm building. This is a website called Replit. So replit.com. And what I'm doing here, and this is like an AI program. So you can just tell it like what you want. And basically, what I want is it to create a personality quiz website. I just started this like 2 days ago or something like this. Replit's pretty cool because one of the things they do besides the AI assistant capabilities here is they have like sort of like cloud-based GitHub, and it's like Google 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 Drive meets GitHub, I would say, because like you can share this project with your friends, and you can actually both work on it in real time, and you can see each other's changes just like you would in Google Drive, but without the overhead of using Git. So it's pretty cool. I think that in itself is a cool concept. Um, so let's see. So this program is not using Python at all. I actually gave it an AI prompt using Claude, and the AI prompt that Claude generated was Python, but Replit was like, no, 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 we're gonna go, we're gonna go with the JavaScript framework, and because you need Tailwind, CSS, and all this other stuff for the interfaces. So um, that's what we're gonna do. So all right, so I'm gonna close out some of these tabs that I don't need, and okay, agent is paused. Start the server. Okay. So the dev URL is here. and I'm going to open a new tab. Oops, didn't copy it correctly. That's weird. Okay. So when you start your Replit project, it is publicly available. Determining press the perch. Replit is a little slow. I mean, obviously, writing all this code yourself saves you months of time potentially, but like it is a little frustrating to, wait for it to fire up the development server, things like this. Like simple modifications may take up to like 2 to 3 minutes. So I would say it's more like a prototyping tool for a web app or full stack SaaS. But yeah, I mean the possibility of you creating a mock-up prototype of a web app is a very powerful thing. There are definitely people out there who make 5 figures a month just running SaaSes that they created in things like Replit. I don't know if my personality quiz is going to be one of those, but I hope so. It's still firing up the web server. But in addition to Replit, there are other, like the new guy on the block is Bolt. Actually, it's not even the new guy on the block anymore. This space like changes like literally every week. Like every week there's a new thing. And so Bolt is good. Bolt is kind of interesting because it actually uses Claude on the back end. There's Cursor. So for the more experienced developer who actually knows what they're doing, Cursor is actually just a mod or fork of Visual Code Studio. So it's just Visual Code Studio with an AI assistant built in. So, it'll do auto completion inline for you as you're typing out your code. So for the more professional developer, Cursor is a great choice. And, GitHub has something called Copilot. It's actually powered by ChatGPT. It gets like mixed reviews. It's okay. I'm sure Cursor's way better, although I haven't used it. V0 is another one. So v0.dev. It's, from what I've read, it's better at front end development than the other platforms. So, if you need a pretty prototype, it's a good choice. The new kid on the block is Quen. So I was just watching a video about it on YouTube. And there's a lot of YouTubers out there who post almost every day, at least 2 or 3 times a week. Find the ones that you like. Some of the ones I like for like baseline stuff, just like AI news. Matt Wolf is a good guy. He covers like the general space in AI, right? So he's good at that. For more sophisticated development, programming oriented news in AI and actual demos, they're like, I don't know, AI Jason is pretty good. Jason. I don't know why YouTube is so heavy at loading pages. But, find the guys you like. So, but that should give you like a good landscape of like what's hot in the AI space. Or you could just go back to Perplexity because it can search the internet. And remember that when you have a large language model, it has a cutoff date, or like when is your so we ask it, you know, that's not true. We know you have an end date. We'll just go back to Perplexity here. Start a new chat. I think it's like June 24. Don't think about it too long. Yeah, so I'm reading the comments here. I could see this sort of an answer engine being useful for SQL. Yeah, for sure. Replit is great. They want money. Yeah, so let's talk about money. So I do pay for Claude. I think it's like $21 a month. I got Perplexity for free for 1 year. It just show I have Uber Eats, so it's like Grubhub, and it's like I don't know. So Perplexity decided to advertise on Uber Eats of all places, and I got like a year free. So I've I have been paying for Replit. Like I don't know. I was just hooked. Like when this thing came out in early access release, I was like, I gotta try it. So I've been on it for 3 months. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep using it or not. Like there's so many other platforms out there with freemium models that it may not be worth the $25 for me. Um, but the opportunity to, instantiate a prototype of a functioning web app is very enticing to me, and I know that I can just hand this off to a professional developer or development team, and I have resources in that regard to finish and make it an actual production worthy web app is good. So my cutoff date is April 24, and okay, so that's good to know. All right, so I was actually going to ask it. So you have to remember that Claude does not know anything after April 2024, and it cannot search the internet to enhance its answers towards you. So, you know, so what do you get when you pay for Perplexity? You get this Pro feature, which integrates the internet with your query. It actually takes your prompt and breaks it down into steps that are more logical, and it basically improves your prompt for you, and it integrates it with internet searches. So I'm just going to ask it, what are the leading full stack? Man, my typing sucks today. Full stack programming AIs. So this is a good question. TensorFlow, PyTorch. Man, I don't like this. What about Replit, Volt, B0, Cursor, and what was the last one? It was Quen. Yeah. Make this bigger for everyone. So obviously it's going to browser-based IDE. Yep. The cool thing about Replit is you can do it on your phone. So it's pretty amusing to like go to a coffee shop and like just whip out your phone, and like Replit exists as an app for iOS, and I think it exists for Android too. Yeah, because I have it here. So I have an Android and an iOS phone. Um, my Android is sort of my daily driver. I run Graphene OS. I don't know if you guys know about that, but any IP related gotchas when deploying? Not really. Must I share my 5-figure month income? No, no. Um, it's all yours, bro. So yeah, Replit does have like a deployment function, but you could just download your code and just put it out on DigitalOcean, AWS, whatever VPS that you like. So Bolt is similar. Um, Full stack. Like the AI, Perplexity is really good at researching stuff for you. So here are like, all right, Replit provides a more accessible platform with a $25 a month fee. So, okay, how do I determine the best for me? And are you missing any alternatives? Key considerations: complexity. All right. Budget. Learning curve. I want to bid personality quiz. That makes me billions of dollars. All right. Okay. Lead generation. Okay. Video ads. Okay. Um, it's like the AIs. They're actually shockingly good assistant project managers, I would say, because like I would never think of any of this stuff because I'm just like a edgelord programmer type, and I don't think about marketing. I don't think about content strategies. So having an AI bring up these topics for you um, in lieu of your goals as prerequisites to achieving your goals, it's a good assistant project manager. Like, what can I say? And Perplexity also has other features. It has this convert to page thing, which actually takes your conversation and it makes it sort of, it's like a wiki page of your chats, and it also has spaces, which is for teams, and it has one more feature that I'll get into later. So it's basically building a successful personality quiz requires a strategic approach to monetization, user engagement, and technical implementation. Blah blah blah. So it basically, it's like creating an article wiki/wiki out of your conversation, and this you can just publish publicly and share the link with anyone you want. So that's kind of handy. It's not great. Like because it's neither here nor there. It's like not an article, it's not a wiki page, it's not a blog post, so it's sort of, I'm not sure how useful it is. Like I've only used it a few times and I don't think the intended effect is not quite there. Um, what's actually more useful is if you go into the library and you, where is it? Page, where is it? Spaces? Threads? No. That's weird. So there's something missing here. I mean, I know it exists in Claude. So if you pay for Claude, one of the things you get is it's like a pre-prompt. Technically, it's called a user prompt, and this is useful when you're actually writing, right? You're writing a blog post, you're creating an article, Substack, Medium, whatever. So where did it go? It's like all my stuff's missing. All this stuff I'm paying for is missing. I don't like this. So is it projects? I think it's projects. Yeah. All right. So there, all the different AIs call them different things, but in Claude it's called projects. So we'll just create a new one. And AI course. I'm working on an AI building. Let's say AI course. So making an AI course for people. Okay. So you can add custom instructions, and this kind of content can be anything, but I'm going to tell it I'm going to give it, hey, you are a AI expert. You can program, do IT stuffs, and build full stack apps. And this is the killer thing. This is your personality profile. And I actually already have this saved. So in terms of personality profiles, everyone's heard of Myers-Briggs. There are more modern frameworks like Big Five and others. There are actually 6 competing frameworks at the moment, and this one is like short code version of all 6 of them. Okay, so now so one of the complaints about AI is like, oh, I can totally tell when AI is being used for writing because it sounds so generic. And it's like, I hate AI, because it's like they always sound the same, and it's like so condescending and blah blah blah. Can you write an article about conversational? Actually, it's about back propagation for beginners. So backpropagation is one of the fundamental principles of any AI large language model in my place. So it's going to take my personality profile and write an article about backpropagation, which is, linear algebra, pretty basic calculus. And let's see how it, quote unquote, sounds, right? So do people have any comments or questions? Ooh. Due to unexpected, so Claude is a little busy today. Try it again. Is any of this surprising? Like, to any of the users here surprised by the capabilities of programming in AI or AI in general? This is very helpful as an intro. Cool. I'm glad it is. Yeah, I mean, every day is like, I think the trick to all of this is just to there's this disconnect with AI. Shit, man. Just do it. I'm paying for you. You should like do my thing. Um, Once you realize that you can just let go, like you don't have to do all the scaffolding and research anymore. You can totally outsource all of this to the AI. It really lets you like create, for lack of a better term. And it's like every day I wake up and it's like, oh, I have a new idea for a web app. Is that going to be cool? And then, you can, if you really like it, you can ask the AI, hey, can you do the market research on this? Is there actual valid need out there in the marketplace for? Okay, Claude does not want to agree, so I'm going to try it in Perplexity. And what I'm going to do is just put it in there. Here's my voice. And copy that. Paste this. So because I'm using the Pro version, it's going to research for me out on the internet, back propagation, its key concepts, and then gather examples, and then draft the article, right? So let's dive into the fascinating world of back propagation, the algorithm that makes neural networks actually learn something. So how it actually works, here's where it gets interesting. Did you use my voice or personality to humanize your writing? So again, this is just a cheat code to, yes, I incorporated several aspects of your cognitive profile into the article. So pattern-focused elements, technical communication style, analytical framework, and this writing style reflected your INTP, high openness, direct communication, system level, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What would like if I had ESFJ profile for this article? So ESFJ is the exact opposite of my INTP. So it's extroverted, sensing, feeling, judgy. So I'm just kind of testing it out, So let's see what it says. It would be dramatically. Hi everyone, let's work together to understand backpropagation. It's actually quite fascinating once we break it down into manageable pieces. So yes, you can tune. Oh yeah, it's got little emojis in there. I would never put an emoji in my writing. So let's see. I'm just not. Let's see. In the last months, I've asked a lot of stupid questions in ChatGPT, but this is informative. Thanks. Yeah, the commenting, I'm impressed with the code it generates with rudimentary comments. It's actually very good at comments and, documentation. So, and the more times you do it, like the better it documents, actually. Like one of the, if I really want the program to work particularly well, what I'll do is I'll take this last stage, if it's Python, and it's like I start a new chat, re-upload the entire Python script, and I'll tell it, you know what, can you make sure everything in this Python script is up to par, and please rewrite the entire script, but do it one definition at a time. And I find that process will improve the entire code base. Like the comments will be better. And even like if it's a terminal based program, like the outputs and the user prompts will be better. So that's like a sort of fine tuning stage that you can go through when you're creating your Python scripts with AI. That's something I found out by accident quite recently. I'm just not used to having an omniscient being available to ask questions of. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's not really that smart. It just has the entire internet at its disposal and it can give it to you in seconds. So it's like it is like a 5-year-old that can program, but has like 20 years of programming experience, apparently. So it's a very strange dichotomy, dealing with a 5-year-old genius, essentially. So, but yeah, so that's how to, fine tune the AI for writing. Obviously this would be part of my course, in improving your communication skills. But you have to really target the platform. So write a Facebook post. Let's say LinkedIn in my voice. Just spent too much time diving into backpropagation's rabbit hole. Here's the thing. Everyone mystifies this algorithm like it's some arcane magic, but it's really just calculus throwing a tantrum in reverse. That's actually a pretty good way to put it, but it made all the right tags and hashtags, whatever. This captures your INTP analytical style, sardonic observations, technical precisions, blah, blah, blah. So apparently I have a lot of dark humor. So apologize for that if that's not your thing, but that's me. So, so what else? So is there anything anyone's interested in? Because I could go on all night, about stuff that I've learned in the past few months. And yeah, I mean, the shocking thing is like I think you can all see that this stuff isn't that hard to do, right? It's like, no, I don't have to be a professional level developer. I'm pretty much an amateur. That really helps with the doing Python. All you have to know is like how to install Python, the right version of Python on your machine, how to do pip installs, how to create a requirements.txt file, how to create a virtual environment for your project, and then how to push things to GitHub. And that's it. You're like, you're a developer. So everything else is just like, nice to know. I think before we started recording the presentation, we made a Airtable database. So like I was saying before we started recording, Airtable is kind of like FileMaker Pro or Microsoft Access in the cloud. So we used Claude to make the prompt to say, hey, can you make us a database in Airtable that would be like a members database for Boston Linux and Unix user group? And I pasted it into Airtable because Airtable has an AI um, Airtable builder, and it did. So it created, and it had even created the sample database with sample data in it. So you have, it's got a sense of humor, right? Sam kernel, Taylor bash, Jamie script, and so on. It has their emails, when they joined, a user ID, kind of like a GUID, and you know, flags we can associate with them, like what their areas of skill is, and etc. Attendance history. It thought of like at least a dozen things that you know um, most people would not think to do when creating like a basic database. So Airtable with its AI web builder now, sorry, not web builder, app builder, is kind of, I think it's a great improvement upon like Google Sheets in that it will scale. Every office worker has some kind of Excel sheet that tracks something about their company or their business that is pretty terrible, but it gets the job done. So now, in under 5 minutes, you can make a better tool that you can share with your company and be online with, instead of it being on a hard drive that's going to die one day that doesn't have any backup, because who does any backup, right? Um, so that's the Airtable use case. We also built a website with Wix Web Builder for Boston Linux users group, and it took a little bit of time. Like, it wasn't as fast as I hoped, but it did get the text right. I'm trying to find why is there not a URL for this? So I think the page was like bogging down on me. So all right, I'm just gonna go back to the home page. I'm gonna say leave page. Oh, because I didn't publish it. I have to publish it. So I'm gonna publish it. That'll give me my URL. Everything's running slow on my computer tonight, so I apologize for that, but we'll soon see it here. I've made like 16 or so prototypes since, I don't know, August, July. And, I was able to land at least two of them, maybe three. And to be able to prototype a website, because you can do the research with AI and then get all the information about there that's publicly available. Tell the AI, hey, make me a sitemap. Hey, make me a prompt for Wix AI web builder, and then just paste all that into Wix. And then basically within 10 minutes, you're going to have a prototype of a website for somebody that you may not even know, right? And then you could literally just email this company and say, do you guys want a new website? Because like I have this prototype, that's free of charge. And if you want something more, let's talk. So that's a very powerful thing. And some people are just like, oh, I like this. It's well structured. It's way better than my existing website. I'm going to talk to this guy, right? Okay, so we have another comment. I'm encouraged to think that Claude can help make sense of even the most tangled problems. Yeah, Python. Yeah, I actually thought I was okay at Python development. But yes, you can totally go to Claude and say, is it okay? So how should I structure my Python project? And again, like the trick is just like, if you don't know it, if you don't know what you're talking about, ask the AI. It's like the AI. So it still has my personality profile in there. So analyzing your cognitive style, systematic, flexible, theoretical framework, whatever. Um, so let me give you a pattern-oriented approach to Python project structure. Here's what I would recommend for you. So it very nicely, in Markdown, creates this stuff for you. The cool thing about, can you create a Markdown email for me about this? So it's great at writing emails. So if I were to like create an email for everyone here, this is what I would do. So I would copy this, and even though it's prettified here, if I go to my email and compose a new thing, it's gonna be Markdown. So I have this like plugin called Markdown here, and when I click it, it's just going to prettify it for me, and then I can send it out. So this is this is a nice way to make elegant looking emails in seconds, right? So that's another trick that I know. That's one I developed myself, actually. I was just like, is there a way I can make this pretty in my email? And it's like, I don't know if I asked the AI or if I asked DuckDuckGo, but I found a solution. So yeah, so you can ask it anything. I've never programmed in JavaScript, so it's like, what's all this stuff about React versus Node, and what is the best JS library for Tailwind? Tailwind seems to be like the dominant CSS framework. So React front end library. What is this? So Claude is just broken tonight or something? Sorry guys, like Claude is just overwhelmed tonight. I'm not sure what's going on, but do we have any other questions, comments, other aspects about AI that anyone wants to talk about?
I have a question. So you said that basically every week this space is changing and models are improving. Do you see the rate at which these models are improving and are useful in the way that I don't know, and what are ways that you measure usefulness? But also, is the way that they're becoming more useful, is that linear? Is it exponential? Has it been slowing down? is it very consistent, the rate at which they're improving?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think to best answer that, I think we're kind of AI's definitely hit prime time, right? It's very useful at a lot of different things. It's going to wipe out, certain industries. One person I know, he's a retired um, researcher at MIT Lincoln Labs, and he spent his entire career working on speech to text models. When I showed him 11 labs, and he was just his jaw just dropped. He's like, I'm so glad I retired because I've been working on parametric algorithms for this particular method of speech to text, and basically I'm useless. So I don't think like AI is going to wipe out jobs. I think it's going to wipe out certain sub industries and make other people better at their jobs. Um, it's not we're not fully roboticized, so AIs can't replace day laborers at the moment. In terms of its improvement, I believe that AI is not going to increase exponentially at this point. It may not even be linear because to there's a hard infrastructure roadblock ahead, and I'm not sure how soon it's going to come up. But to satisfy, AI computational demands in the future to the levels that we're hoping for, we're literally going to run out of electricity. So we would need to either build thousands of like hundreds to thousands of nuclear power plants, or we have to recreate new hardware. And that's an interesting question. I guess I'm just going to switch to. Um, so what are ooh? So there are a few companies out there that are actually like starting from scratch from a hardware level to reinvent AI platforms. So what are some companies making hardware AI platforms? There's one in Boston actually. They're called Xtropic, and the founder calls it thermodynamic AI computation. He's got like Samanova. Okay, I think the most promising one is called Light Matter. Um, yeah, but getting back to Zach's question, um, not exponential, maybe not even linear. But they kind of it's a very competitive space. So there's like a dozen text to um, photo models out there. There's a dozen text to video models out there. There's a half dozen sound text to speech models, and they kind of incrementally like leapfrog each other like every few months in whatever niche they're in. So for that reason, if you're going to purchase any AI SaaS, I recommend doing it month to month because you know Perplexity is great, but what if OpenAI gets their act together and they actually come out with a large language model that's actually good at programming? And they might have one. It's called like Strawberry. What is Strawberry? Um, O1 Open. Yeah. So this is the latest um, prod product that OpenAI has released. It's supposed to be good at programming. So it's called O1, Enhanced Reasoning. So is it better than Claude at programming? So, if you get into this stuff, into this AI business, you have to be pretty fluid and flexible. Like, just know whatever you're doing today may not be the best process going tomorrow. So, all right, O1 preview scores 98.6%. Claude, so it's, as you can see, it's like very minorly better, right? But AI is going to be like that meme that's like where you have that platform of like bronze, silver, and gold, and it's like the guy who got bronze is like that's like Chat GPT. Um, so, but O1 preview is slower, 23 seconds. Claude is faster, 4x cheaper. So O1 excels at complex and backend, better rapid. So we're kind of getting into the weeds, but when you're choosing an LLM for your programming tasks, even though you're saving like months of time, you still want to save every second that you can. So, for me, I'm going to stick with Claude, for today. But just to make sure, any other programming LLMs or AIs I should consider. I mostly do Python. Okay. It's pretty generous about typos, as you can see. The question marks, you probably don't even need to put question marks because it just kind of assumes that everything is a question. So open source models, yes. Mistral, and so this is a French company. Sometimes when you're running Claude, to the bitter end, like you run out of credits, it cuts you off. It's like, oh, you're out of credits until 2 a.m. That's when you want to run your own AI locally on your PC using Linux, of course. And Mixtral would be a good choice. It's 7 billion parameters, so it'll run on any PC if you have an NVIDIA card or a AMD card. Even it'll be 100 times faster, depending on how much VRAM you have. For right now, if you're just getting into running AI on your PC, I would probably, for cost, I would probably get a 3090 NVIDIA card. It's still $800, and it's one generation behind the 4090, which is state of the art, but still also kind of old. The 3090 will be less expensive than the 4090. Both of them have 24 gigs of VRAM. And when it comes to running local AI or LLMs on your machine, the only thing that matters is how much VRAM you have. I built a PC over there for a cost of like $5,000, which has a 24 gig 4090. But I actually want to sell it because I want to build a bigger PC with like two 24 gig NVIDIA cards in it, so I can run larger language models on my machine. So yeah. So again, all of this information, tech specs about LLMs can be found at Hugging Face. Hugging Face is kind of like the GitHub of machine learning and LLMs. Um, you can, so here's the hot um, programming AI at the moment this week, right? This week, it's called Quen 2.5, and it's going to have a coder version. So coder instruct what versions we have. Admittedly, Hugging Space it's a little takes a little time to get used to. Like what are safe tensors? What are transformers? What are um, other things, like what are embeddings? And embeddings are kind of like pre-prompts. So how the contextualization of your LLM actually. So, but you'll get familiar with it over time. It's not important to know if you're just wanting to use AI. You don't need to know it if you want to use AI and use AI for programming. It's totally up to you. I might have mentioned this before, but Cursor is good for the professional programmer. B0 is another competitor to Replit. Let's get back to my Replit. Is it running? So I don't know. Run. Okay. Let's see if it runs. So again, this particular Replit is my full stack personality quiz website that I'm trying to make. Okay, doesn't want to run. Fine. So let's go to WebView. Networking tool. Nope. Okay, so my personality quiz thing is like broken. I have made other, full stack apps on Replit. So, but yeah, I think Replit's the best tool for prototyping. But we can ask. So, cloud services, Replit Ghostwriter, Codium. That's funny. The choice depends on your specific needs. Local, Mixtral, CodeLlama, cloud-based. For enterprise use, Wing Pro or Code Whisperer provide comprehensive development environments. What about Cursor, Bolt, Quen, B0? So we're we're at the 8:30 mark, and I think what I was told was any meeting over an hour and a half is not particularly useful for people, because that's like the limits of most people's attention. I can keep going, but what do you guys think, John and Jerry? Is this
Well, personally, I don't really see. I don't really see any need for a hard limit. When we were at MIT, we had a hard limit of 9:00, but that was because we went to the Cambridge Brewery afterwards when we wanted to get there before the kitchen closed.
Mm-hmm.
When you go online, that's really not relevant.
Yeah.
I'd throw it open to what other people think.
Yeah. Please, anyone, feel free to speak up. Rip.
I find all this fascinating. I could go on for hours if you were willing to it. But at some point, I'm sure you're going to get tired. So
yeah.
So what does everyone else think?
Yeah, I just don't want to overwhelm people, and I'm hoping different people get different things out of a presentation like this. I'm not sure which point I should reinforce for people. If there's anything that people want me to revisit, I can do that as well. So, whatever makes you get the most out of this presentation. I'm happy to entertain anything. So, yeah.
Well, I see in the comments the number of people are dropping off now. So,
Yeah.
I guess maybe give another 10 minutes or so.
Okay. Sure. So please share your personal phone number. Well, Mr. MOD, like I'm developing a course in AI that I hope will be a source of income for me in the medium term future. So I will leave my email here. I probably will send it out to discussion at BLU as a request for people to participate in informational interviews. So basically, Michael O'Donnell. Nice to meet you, Michael. And basically, I want to conduct short Zoom calls to see what people are looking for in a course about AI. If you attended this presentation, you're already getting a lot for free. So there's so many. I don't know. AI is it's not like a systematic process, right? It's like one of the other things I do is professional photography, and I do have a systematic approach to photography, but at the end of the day, it's like a huge bag of tricks. It's like there's lighting tricks, there's like framing tricks, there's editing tricks, and all of those things are self-taught. It's kind of like that for me with AI as well, because remember, I I I remember signing up for OpenAI's beta like during the pandemic. So this is like 2021, 2020, 4 years ago, and for some reason I never got the email to get admitted to the early access program. But I remember, thinking about it. It was cool. I remember, Microsoft's terrible debacle with their Tay AI on Twitter. They had a female teenage chatbot, which, like, within 10 minutes of its release on Twitter, got turned into like a Adolf Hitler pro Adolf Hitler chatbot. It was like, and they had to shut it down within hours of its release, and then they updated the code, released it again. Again, it got hacked immediately, got turned into a Nazi, less than overnight. That's like 2015. So if you think about it, the progress, I think it seems so overwhelming now just because of the things like it can do that we weren't paying attention to. Like, conversational chatbots have been around for a very long time, since the 1950s, to be honest. And I think the first one was developed at MIT. Clippy is a good great one. The first one is called Eliza. Tell me about Eliza, MIT. And Eliza was like a very rudimentary program that literally repeated back the person's questions in a question form, right? So pioneering milestone, 1964 in AI, mad slip programming language. So this is literally the first AI, but fundamentally it was like the guy who created it, this guy Joseph Weizenbaum, when he demoed it to his secretaries, the secretaries were like, "Can you leave us alone? I want to chat with Eliza more. Can you go to the other room, please? So it was like spellbinding from like day one. And you know, so 1964 to 2024, it's a pretty long time period, right? And so we've gotten from here to from Eliza to ChatGPT and Claude. It's not like a monumental leap forward. I don't feel. Um, so this, but the framework was the important thing about Eliza. So it uses he studied this psychotherapist named Carl Rogers, and Carl Rogers has this technique of using, as they say, non-directional questioning techniques and reflected statements back to the patients. It's like, oh, so I see that you feel some distrust with your current spouse, and is that correct? And then person say, yes, I feel angry at my spouse, and that kind of back and forth created the emotional attachment to the program. So and then you have all the problems with AI ethics, limitations, and etc. So yeah, so I hope that people will participate in a Zoom call with me. I think people are running out of topics or questions. Do you guys have anything else? Jerry, John, Brendan, Mr. Michael, Zach?
No, I don't really have any questions.
Okay.
Other than, actually, I did have a question about the speech to text, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the speech to text tool. Oops. I'll just show it to you real quick. The market leader seems to be 11 Labs. Most of the companies, they're quote unquote more ambitious, so there seems to be more competition in the text to image space or text to photo. I didn't show any AI generated images or videos. I'm sure everyone's seen them. They're pretty good, but they haven't really passed the quote unquote uncanny valley. So they're at that 95% realistic.
Oh, this is actually the opposite of what I was thinking of.
What were you thinking of?
When I heard speech to text, I thought it was something where somebody talks and then it generates text from it.
Oh yeah, I mean it could definitely do that. Like if you have the mobile app version of ChatGPT, or even the mobile version of Perplexity or Claude, you can just talk to it in your phone. One of the things I didn't show that it's really good at is like if you have, let's say you're at a restaurant and you're looking at the menu outside the restaurant because it's pasted in the window. You can literally just take a photo of it and then upload it to Perplexity and say like read me the menu, and it'll just type out the entire menu for you. I've literally saved people's data that way. It's like, I'm an IT guy, so last week I transferred the user's data to a new laptop, and then she uses Apple notifications or something like this. It's like some note taker that's really obscure. Like it's one of those free tools that Apple gives you that no one uses, but she used it. Oh, yeah. And for some reason, all of her to-dos were not transferred. So I literally took a picture of her old laptop screen of her to-dos. It transcribed it all. And then I just emailed it to her. And to top it off, I was like, I asked the AI, is there a quick way to import all these data entries without copying and pasting every single one, because there was 25 of them? And it's like, yeah, sure, you just do this. And it's like, okay, so there you go. So now everyone thinks I'm a genius at work. So,
Yeah,
um,
well, I was thinking there was a thing I was dealing with back in 2013. There was this video that was in German language,
mhm.
and I wanted English subtitles for it. Of
Oh
course,
yeah, sure.
when I asked if anyone could help out with that, just got a couple of snide responses that if you want to watch the video, learn German. And I saw Google Translate like 6 months later, so I decided I'd see if I could do it myself. I basically created I created a transcript of the whole video, and made,
Mhm.
but it just like dummy text in it. And then I asked for some volunteer to just transcribe the German dialogue into German text, and then I could use Google Translate to translate it.
Mhm.
And I found a volunteer to do that, and we worked back and forth for a few weeks, and got the whole thing done. I
Yeah.
was wondering if there's any like automatic speech text generator that could actually recognize languages like German and generate valid German text out of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm
So,
sure there's been a lot of improvement in the past 10 years.
oh yeah. So I have two Python projects